Simone Carter's hands were steady as she adjusted the playback speed on the surveillance monitor. Most people would be shaking. Most people would be crying. But Simone had built a multimillion-dollar maritime empire by staying calm when everyone else panicked, and she would not fall apart now. The footage was from 3 hours ago. Camera 12, the main deck of the Azure Dream, her newest luxury yacht. The timestamp read 2:47 p.m. There was Derek, her husband of 7 years, stepping aboard in his expensive sunglasses and that blue linen shirt she bought him for his birthday. He was smiling wider than she had seen in months. His arm was wrapped around a woman with long auburn hair, her sundress blowing in the ocean breeze. Simone turned up the volume. "This is incredible, baby," the woman said, looking around the polished deck. "You really own all this?" Derek laughed. That same laugh Simone used to love. "The whole fleet. Wait until you see the master suite." Simone's jaw tightened. The master suite. The one she designed herself after visiting yacht shows in Monaco and Dubai. The one with the imported Italian marble and the custom skylight above the bed. She watched as Derek pulled the woman closer, kissing her right there on the deck. The captain, Miguel, stood at a respectful distance near the helm, clearly uncomfortable. He had worked for Simone for 5 years. He knew exactly who Derek was married to. "Mr. Carter," Miguel said carefully, "shall I show you and your guest to your accommodations?" "The honeymoon package," Derek said, grinning. "Nothing but the best for my lady." The woman giggled. "Honeymoon package? Derek, you are too much." Simone paused the video. The woman's face was frozen on the screen, caught mid-laugh. She looked young, maybe late 20s. Pretty in an obvious way. Simone zoomed in on her left hand. No ring. No tan line. No sign she had any idea Derek was married. Or maybe she did know. Maybe she did not care. Simone sat back in her leather chair, the one positioned in front of the wall of monitors that tracked all 12 vessels in her fleet. This office, tucked away in the administrative building of Carter Maritime Group, was her sanctuary. No one came here without permission. Not her employees. Not her friends. And definitely not Derek, who thought she just managed some boat rentals as a hobby. He had no idea she owned the entire operation. He thought she worked for someone else. She let him believe that because it made him feel superior, and for 7 years she convinced herself that a small lie was worth keeping the peace. She had been a fool. Her cell phone buzzed. A text from Tasha, her best friend since college. "Lunch tomorrow? You have been dodging me for 2 weeks." Simone stared at the message. 2 weeks ago, she noticed Derek started working late more often. Started putting passwords on his phone. Started picking fights over nothing so he could storm out of the house. She suspected. She hired a private investigator. And 3 days ago, Jordan Wells handed her a folder full of proof. Hotel receipts. Restaurant charges. Apartment rental agreements for a place in the city Derek claimed was a temporary office space. But seeing it on her own security footage was different. This was her yacht. Her business. Her name on the hull of that ship. Derek had brought his mistress onto Simone's own property and pretended to own it. She texted Tasha back. "Tomorrow works. I have news." Simone turned back to the monitors. The Azure Dream was still at sea, scheduled to return to the marina at 8 o'clock tonight. She glanced at the ship's manifest on her computer screen. The honeymoon package Derek booked included champagne, premium meals, a private chef, and a sunset cruise along the coastline. He paid for it with their joint credit card. Simone opened her desk drawer and pulled out her phone. Not her regular cell, but the secure line she used for business. She scrolled through her contacts and stopped at one name. Patricia Monroe. The best divorce attorney in the state. Simone pressed call. It rang twice before a crisp, professional voice answered. "Patricia Monroe. Patricia, this is Simone Carter. I need to retain your services immediately." There was a pause. Patricia had handled the legal incorporation of Carter Maritime Group. She knew exactly who Simone was and what she was worth. "I am clear for the next hour," Patricia said. "Are you safe?" "I am safe," Simone replied. "But I need to move quickly. My husband is currently on one of my yachts with another woman. He does not know I own the company. I need to file for divorce, freeze assets, and ensure he cannot touch my business." "Do you have a prenuptial agreement?" "Yes. Ironclad. You drafted it yourself." "Good. I will pull the file. Can you come to my office now?" Simone looked at the monitor again. Derek and the woman were sitting on the deck, drinking champagne, toasting to something Simone could not hear. "I will be there in 20 minutes, Simone said. She ended the call and stood up. Her reflection stared back at her from the dark window. She was 34 years old, beautiful, successful, and apparently married to a liar. Her dark brown skin glowed even under the fluorescent office lights. Her natural hair was pulled back into a sleek bun. She wore a white blazer and tailored pants because she had a meeting earlier with potential investors. Investors who wanted to partner with her. Not Derek. Simone grabbed her purse and took one last look at the monitors. The Azure Dream sailed smoothly across the water, carrying her cheating husband and his mistress toward what they thought was a romantic evening. They had no idea the storm that was coming. Simone walked out of her office, locked the door, and headed toward her car. Her hands were still steady. Her mind was clear. And for the first time in 2 weeks, she felt something other than sadness. She felt powerful. Simone had not always owned 12 luxury yachts and a marina that stretched across 2 acres of prime coastal property. 10 years ago, she was a recent business school graduate with a dream and a small inheritance from her grandmother. $50,000. That was all she had. Most people told her to invest it safely. Buy a condo. Start a retirement fund. Play it smart. But Simone saw an opportunity. She grew up spending summers on her uncle's fishing boat, learning navigation, maintenance, and the ins and outs of maritime operations. While other kids were at the mall, she was scrubbing decks and studying boat mechanics. She loved the water. She loved the freedom. And she saw how much wealthy tourists paid for a single day on a luxury vessel. So she bought a small yacht. Nothing fancy. A 30-footer that needed work. She spent 6 months fixing it up herself, learning everything from engine repair to interior design. She named it Dream One. Her first client was a couple celebrating their anniversary. They paid $3,000 for a sunset dinner cruise. Simone made sure everything was perfect. The food, the music, the route along the coastline. They left a glowing review and referred 3 more clients. Within 2 years, she owned 3 boats. Within 5 years, she had 8 and enough revenue to purchase the marina property. She incorporated as Carter Maritime Group and hired a small team of captains, chefs, and maintenance crew. That was when she met Derek. He was a corporate consultant attending a business conference at a hotel near the marina. Simone was there for a networking event, wearing a red dress and the confidence that came from building something real. Derek approached her at the bar. He was handsome, charming, and interested in everything she had to say. They talked for 3 hours. He seemed impressed by her ambition. He said he admired women who built their own success. They dated for a year before he proposed. Simone was happy. She thought she found a partner who understood her drive. But small things started to change after the wedding. Derek began making comments about her spending too much time at work. He suggested she hire a manager so she could relax more. He introduced her to people as his wife who helped run a boat rental company. Helped run. Like she was an assistant. Simone corrected him at first. But Derek would laugh it off, say he was just being modest on her behalf. He said people felt intimidated by successful women, so it was easier to downplay it. She started to believe him. She started to stay quiet when he misrepresented her role. And the biggest mistake, she never fully explained the scope of Carter Maritime Group. Derek knew she worked with boats. He knew she made good money. But he thought she was a manager for someone else. He never asked detailed questions and Simone never pushed the topic. It was easier that way. It kept the peace. Derek had his own career struggles. His consulting business never took off the way he hoped. He blamed the economy, bad clients, bad timing. Simone supported him financially during rough patches. She paid for his certifications, his networking events, his new laptop. She told herself that was what marriage meant. Partnership. Support. But Derek never supported her the same way. When she landed a major contract with a hotel chain for corporate yacht events, he barely acknowledged it. When she was featured in a business magazine, he made a joke about her being a local celebrity. He never celebrated her wins. He just tolerated them. Looking back now, Simone saw all the red flags she ignored. 3 months ago, Derek started going to the gym more often. He bought new clothes. He became obsessed with his appearance. 2 months ago, he started password protecting his phone. 1 month ago, he booked a weekend trip and told Simone it was a consulting retreat. She found out later from a mutual friend that no retreat existed. That was when she hired Jordan Wells. Jordan was a private investigator who specialized in infidelity cases. He was discreet, professional, and brutally thorough. Within a week, he had everything. Derek was seeing a woman named Amber Collins. She was 28, worked in marketing, and met Derek at a coffee shop 4 months ago. Derek told her he was a successful entrepreneur who owned a luxury yacht company. He rented an apartment in the city where they met twice a week. He bought her jewelry, paid for weekend trips, and promised her a future. all with money from joint accounts Simone funded. Jordan's report included photos, receipts, and even text message screenshots obtained through legal channels. Derek called Amber baby and my queen. He made plans to take her on a special trip. Something unforgettable. The yacht reservation came through Simone's own booking system 3 days ago. Derek used a fake name, but the credit card was joint. The booking agent, who did not know Derek personally, processed it like any other client. Simone saw the reservation. She checked the guest name. She cross-referenced the credit card. And then she pulled the surveillance footage. Now she sat in Patricia Monroe's law office, a glass building downtown with views of the city skyline. Patricia was 52, sharp as a blade, and had never lost a high-asset divorce case. She wore her gray hair in a short, professional cut and her reading glasses on a chain around her neck. "Walk me through everything," Patricia said, her pen poised over a legal pad. Simone handed her the folder from Jordan. "My husband is having an affair. He has been using joint funds to support it. He lied to this woman about who he is and what he owns. And today he brought her onto one of my yachts, pretending to own the company." Patricia flipped through the documentation. Her expression did not change, but Simone saw the slight tightening around her eyes. "Anger maybe. Or just focus. Your prenuptial agreement protects your business assets," Patricia said. "Anything you owned before the marriage or built with premarital funds is yours. He cannot claim Carter Maritime Group." "What about joint accounts?" "We freeze them immediately. You will need to establish separate accounts and transfer your personal funds. He will have access to half of whatever was earned during the marriage, minus what he misused." "He misused a lot." Patricia smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Then we document every dollar and make him account for it. If he used marital funds for gifts to another woman, that is dissipation of assets. The court does not look kindly on that." Simone felt something loosen in her chest. Relief maybe. Or vindication. "I want this done quickly," Simone said. "I do not want drama. I do not want a long court battle. I just want him out of my life." Patricia looked at her directly. "You will get exactly that. But Simone, you need to prepare yourself. You will fight back. Men like Derek do not go quietly. He built his entire identity around being the successful one. When he realizes you own everything he pretended to own, it will hurt his ego. And he will lash out." "Let him try," Simone said quietly. Patricia nodded. "Good. Then let us get to work." They spent the next hour drafting divorce papers, asset protection orders, and injunctions. Patricia made calls to financial advisors and forensic accountants. Simone signed documents, authorized investigations, and prepared for war. When she finally left Patricia's office, the sun was setting. The Azure Dream would be docking soon. Simone drove to the marina, parked in her reserved spot, and walked to the main dock. She stood there, arms crossed, watching the horizon. At exactly 8 o'clock, the Azure Dream appeared in the distance, its white hull gleaming in the twilight. Miguel guided it expertly into the slip. And there, on the deck, stood Derek and Amber, still laughing, still oblivious. Simone did not move. She just watched as they disembarked, as Derek tipped the crew with her money as he walked Amber to his car. He never even looked in Simone's direction. He had no idea she was there. But tomorrow he would know everything. Tomorrow the empire she built would crush the lies he told. Simone did not sleep that night. She sat at her dining room table with her laptop, 3 folders of documents, and a pot of coffee that went cold hours ago. Derek was not home. He texted at 9 saying he had to work late. Simone did not respond. She just kept working. The first folder contained Jordan's investigation report. Photos of Derek and Amber at restaurants, hotels, and walking hand in hand through the city park. There were screenshots of text messages where Derek called himself a yacht company owner. Messages where he promised Amber trips to the Caribbean and Europe. Promises he planned to keep using Simone's money. The second folder contained financial records. Simone spent 4 hours combing through credit card statements, bank transactions, and wire transfers. She created a spreadsheet documenting every suspicious charge. Dinner at La Mer, the French restaurant downtown, $470. Derek told Simone he was meeting a client. Diamond bracelet from Cartier, $3,200. Simone never received a bracelet. Rent for apartment 4B on Riverside Drive, $2,500 per month for the last 4 months. $10,000 total. Weekend trip to Napa Valley, $6,800. Derek said he was at a consulting conference. The list went on and on. Simone calculated the total. Over the past 6 months, Derek spent $43,000 on his affair. Money from their joint account. Money Simone earned. The third folder contained property documents, business incorporation papers, and the prenuptial agreement. Patricia was right. Everything was protected. Carter Maritime Group was established 3 years before Simone met Derek. The prenup clearly stated that any business assets owned prior to marriage remained separate property. Derek signed it without argument. Probably because he never thought Simone's little boat business would amount to anything. At 4 in the morning, Simone heard the front door open. Derek came in quietly, trying not to wake her. She heard him drop his keys on the kitchen counter, open the refrigerator, close it again. She stayed at the dining room table with the lights off. Waiting. Derek walked past without noticing her. He went upstairs to the bedroom they shared. She heard the shower turn on. Simone closed her laptop. Tomorrow morning, she had a meeting scheduled with her accountant, her business manager, and Patricia. They would finalize the divorce filing and prepare the asset freeze. But tonight she had one more thing to do. She opened her phone and pulled up the security app for their home system. Derek did not know she had cameras installed 6 months ago after a break-in 2 streets over. Small, discreet cameras in common areas, including the home office Derek used. Simone scrolled through footage from the past week. There. 3 days ago. Derek in the office on a video call. She turned up the volume. "Baby, I cannot wait to see you," Derek was saying to someone on the screen. "This weekend is going to be perfect. I booked the best yacht in the fleet. You deserve it." Amber's voice came through the speakers. "You are so good to me. I still cannot believe you own all those boats. You must be so successful." Derek laughed. "I worked hard for it. Built the whole company from nothing. But it is worth it to see you smile." Simone saved the video file. More evidence. More proof of his lies. She also found footage from 2 weeks ago. Derek in the same office on the phone, his voice angry. "I do not care what Simone thinks," he was saying. "She does not understand business. She just manages schedules and handles paperwork. I am the one making real money." Simone paused the video. That was a lie too. Derek's consulting business brought in maybe $30,000 a year. Simone's company pulled in over $2 million annually. But he believed his own delusions. He convinced himself she was beneath him. The sky started to lighten outside. Dawn was coming. Simone heard Derek get into bed upstairs. Heard the springs creak as he settled in. She stayed at the table, organizing her evidence into clear, undeniable categories. Financial misuse. Emotional manipulation. Fraud. Lies. At 7, her alarm went off upstairs. Derek would be waking up soon, getting ready for another day of pretending to be someone he was not. Simone went upstairs, moving quietly. She grabbed clothes from her closet and dressed in the bathroom. A navy suit today. Professional. Powerful. When she came out, Derek was awake, scrolling through his phone in bed. "Morning," he said without looking up. "Morning," Simone replied. "I have meetings all day," Derek said. "Might be late again tonight." "Okay." He finally glanced at her. "You look nice. Special meeting?" "Something like that." Derek went back to his phone. He did not ask details. He never did. Simone left the bedroom and went downstairs. She made herself a protein smoothie, grabbed her briefcase and walked out the front door. She did not say goodbye. At 9 o'clock, Simone sat in the conference room at Carter Maritime Group headquarters with her core team. Patricia was there with 2 associates. Jordan Wells sat across from her with an updated report. Her accountant, Robert Chin, had his laptop open with financial projections. And Tasha, who Simone finally told everything yesterday, sat beside her offering silent support. "Let us begin," Patricia said, opening her folder. "Simone, we are filing for divorce today. The papers will be served to Derek at his office by 4 p.m. Simultaneously, we will freeze all joint accounts and file injunctions preventing him from accessing business assets." Robert spoke up. "I have separated Simone's personal finances from all joint holdings. New accounts are established. Derek will have access to exactly half of the marital savings, which amounts to $47,000 after we subtract what he misappropriated." "He spent $43,000 on the affair," Simone said. "Correct. Which means his share is reduced to $4,000. We have documentation for every misused cent." Jordan added, "I also have testimony from 3 witnesses who saw Derek with Amber. Restaurant staff, hotel employees, and a parking attendant. All willing to testify if needed." Tasha squeezed Simone's hand under the table. "You are doing the right thing." Simone nodded. She felt clear-headed. Focused. Patricia continued, Derek will likely attempt to claim part of Carter Maritime Group. His lawyers will argue he supported you emotionally and contributed to your success. But the prenup is solid. He has no legal claim. What about the yacht incident? Simone asked. Can we use that? Absolutely. It demonstrates fraud and misuse of your property. It also shows a pattern of deception. The surveillance footage is admissible. Simone thought about the video of Derek and Amber on the Azure Dream. Thought about him pretending to own what she built. I want him to know, Simone said quietly. I want him to know exactly what he lost. Patricia smiled that sharp smile again. He will. The meeting lasted 2 hours. They covered every detail, every possible scenario, every legal strategy. When it ended, Simone walked to her private office and sat at the desk overlooking the marina. Her yachts were docked in a neat row, their white hulls gleaming in the sun. She built this. Every boat, every contract, every success. She did it through hard work, smart decisions, and relentless determination. Derek did not build anything. He just took credit and spent money. Her phone buzzed. A calendar reminder. Derek's divorce papers would be served in 6 hours. Simone allowed herself a small smile. Let the games begin. The process server arrived at Derek's office at exactly 4 o'clock. Simone knew this because Patricia texted her a confirmation. Papers served. He is reading them now. Simone was at the marina, standing on the deck of the Azure Dream. The same yacht where Derek brought Amber 3 days ago. The same deck where he lied and pretended to be someone he was not. She was not alone. Patricia stood beside her in a sharp gray suit, a leather portfolio under her arm. Jordan was there too, camera ready to document everything. And Miguel, the captain, waited near the helm with 2 members of Simone's security team. This was not about revenge. This was about control. Simone's phone rang. Derek. She let it ring 4 times before answering. What the hell is this? Derek's voice was shaking. Anger, shock, fear. Maybe all 3. Divorce papers, Simone said calmly. I believe they are self-explanatory. You cannot be serious. Simone, we can talk about this. Whatever you think I did. I do not think anything, Derek. I know. I have evidence. Photos. Videos. Financial records. I know about Amber. I know about the apartment. I know about every lie you told. Silence on the other end. You are on the Azure Dream right now, Derek said slowly. Aren't you? I am. On my yacht. The one you pretended to own. More silence. Simone could almost hear the gears turning in his head. The realization crashing down. Your yacht. Derek repeated. My company. My fleet. My property. Did you really think I managed boats for someone else? Did you never wonder why my name is on the incorporation papers you signed as a witness? Simone, listen. No. You listen. You brought another woman onto my property. You used my money to fund your affair. You lied to her about who you are. And worst of all, you disrespected everything I built. I can explain. There is nothing to explain. The divorce is happening. You will get exactly what the prenup allows, which is almost nothing. And Derek? Stay away from my business. Stay away from my boats. If you come near this marina again, I will have you arrested for trespassing. She ended the call. Patricia nodded approvingly. Well done. Simone's phone immediately started ringing again. Derek desperate. She declined the call and blocked his number. 30 minutes later, a car pulled into the marina parking lot. Derek jumped out, his tie loose and his face red. He stormed toward the dock where the Azure Dream was moored. The security team stepped forward, blocking his path. Sir, this is private property, one of them said. You need to leave. That is my wife. Derek shouted, pointing at Simone. Simone, get down here and talk to me. Simone stayed on the deck, arms crossed. She did not move. Derek tried to push past security. They held firm. Mr. Carter, Patricia called from the deck, her voice carrying across the water. You are trespassing on private property owned by Carter Maritime Group. You have no legal right to be here. If you do not leave immediately, we will call the police. This is insane. Derek yelled. Simone, please. We have been married for 7 years. And you have been cheating for 4 months, Simone called back. I'm done, Derek. Go home. You cannot just throw me away like this. Jordan stepped forward, camera raised. Sir, you are being recorded. Any threats or aggressive behavior will be documented and used in court. Derek looked at the camera, then at Simone, then at the security team blocking him. His shoulders sagged. The fight drained out of him. "This is not over," he said, but his voice was weak. "Yes, it is," Simone replied. Derek stood there for another moment, like he was waiting for her to change her mind, to run down the dock and into his arms, to forgive him. She did not move. Finally, Derek turned and walked back to his car. He slammed the door and drove away, tires screeching. Simone let out a breath she did not know she was holding. "Are you okay?" Tasha asked, appearing from the cabin below. "I am fine," Simone said. And she meant it. Patricia checked her phone. His attorney just called. "They want to negotiate." "There is nothing to negotiate. The prenup is clear. They will try anyway. Men like Derek always do." Simone looked out at the water. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of purple and orange. It was beautiful, peaceful. This was her world, her creation, and Derek never appreciated it. "Let them try," Simone said. "We have all the evidence. We have the law on our side. And I have something Derek never had." "What is that?" Tasha asked. "The truth." Derek's attorney was named Richard Lawson, a man known for aggressive tactics and high-profile divorces. He requested an emergency meeting with Patricia, claiming Derek was being unfairly treated. Patricia agreed to meet. Not because she was worried, but because watching Derek's case fall apart would be satisfying. The meeting took place in a neutral conference room downtown. Richard arrived with Derek, who looked like he had not slept in days. His usually crisp appearance was wrinkled and tired. Patricia brought Simone and two associates. They sat across the table in silence while Richard shuffled papers. "Let us be direct," Richard began. "My client is willing to settle this amicably. He acknowledges mistakes were made in the marriage. But he believes he is entitled to fair compensation for his contributions to Mrs. Carter's business success." Patricia did not even blink. What contributions? Emotional support. Partnership. Mr. Carter was there during the building phase of Carter Maritime Group. He provided stability and... "He provided nothing," Patricia interrupted. Carter Maritime Group was established and incorporated 3 years before they met. Mrs. Carter built it using premarital assets. Your client has zero legal claim. Richard looked at Derek, who shifted uncomfortably. "The business may have started before the marriage," Richard argued, "but it grew during the marriage. My client's support during that time is irrelevant," Patricia said. "The prenuptial agreement is explicit. All premarital assets and businesses remain separate property. Mr. Carter signed it willingly with independent legal counsel present." She slid a copy of the prenup across the table. Derek's signature was clear on the last page. Richard scanned it, his jaw tightening. "Fine. Then we will argue for alimony. Mrs. Carter earns substantially more than my client. He became accustomed to a certain lifestyle during the marriage. A lifestyle he funded with marital assets he misappropriated for an extramarital affair," Patricia countered. She opened her own folder and pulled out the financial spreadsheet Simone prepared. "Your client spent $43,000 on another woman over 6 months. Dinners, gifts, trips, and an apartment. All using joint funds." She slid the spreadsheet across the table. Derek's face went pale. Richard studied the numbers, his expression darkening. "This is dissipation of marital assets," Patricia continued. "In this state, when one spouse wastes money on an affair, the court deducts that amount from their share of the marital estate. Your client is not entitled to alimony. He is entitled to almost nothing." Richard looked at Derek. "Is this accurate?" Derek opened his mouth, closed it, tried again. "I can explain." "Do not," Richard said sharply. He turned back to Patricia. "We need time to review these documents." "Take all the time you need," Patricia said. "But know this. We have surveillance footage of Mr. Carter bringing his mistress onto my client's yacht and claiming to own it. We have text messages where he lied about his identity and assets. We have witness testimony. If you want to drag this to court, we are ready. And your client will lose. Publicly." Richard gathered his papers. "We will be in touch." Derek stood abruptly. "Simone, can we please talk? Alone." Simone looked at him. Really looked. She saw a man who built his identity on lies. A man who took credit for her work. A man who threw away 7 years for someone he barely knew. "No," she said simply. "Please. I made a mistake. I was stupid. But we can fix this." "There is nothing to fix, Derek. You wanted someone who believed you were important. You wanted to feel like a big man. So you lied to Amber and you disrespected me. Now you deal with the consequences. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. And worse, you did not even think I would find out. You underestimated me. That was your biggest mistake. Derek looked like he wanted to say more, but Richard grabbed his arm. Let us go. They left the conference room. The door closed behind them. Patricia turned to Simone. You did well. I just told the truth. Most people cannot do that when facing their ex. They get emotional. They waver. You stayed strong. Simone felt strong. Stronger than she had in months. Over the next 2 weeks, Derek's legal team tried everything. They requested financial disclosures, hoping to find something they could claim. They argued that Derek deserved credit for emotional labor. They even suggested Simone was being vindictive. Patricia shut down every argument with facts, documentation, and legal precedent. Meanwhile, Simone focused on her business. She had a major contract negotiation with a hotel chain that wanted to offer yacht experiences to their premium guests. The deal was worth $300,000 annually. She closed it in one meeting. Her team celebrated with champagne on the Azure Dream, the same yacht Derek tried to claim. Simone stood on the deck, looking at her employees, people who depended on her leadership, her vision, her success. This was what mattered. Not a failed marriage. Not a lying husband. But the empire she built and the people she supported. Tasha raised her glass. To Simone. The smartest woman I know. To Simone, the team echoed. Simone smiled. A real smile. That night, she got a call from Patricia. Derek's attorney wants to settle. They are offering to waive all claims to your business in exchange for a clean break. No alimony, no asset division beyond the prenup terms. What changed? His employer fired him. Simone sat up. What? Apparently, Derek used company resources to conduct his affair. He charged personal expenses to the corporate card, used work time for personal trips, and lied on expense reports. HR launched an investigation after someone tipped them off. Who tipped them off? Patricia was quiet for a moment. An anonymous source with detailed documentation. Simone thought about Jordan Wells, the private investigator who always went the extra mile. So Derek has no job, no money, and no leverage, Simone said. Exactly. He wants this over before it gets worse. Tell Richard we accept. On one condition. What is that? Derek signs a non-disclosure agreement. He does not talk about me, my business, or this divorce to anyone. Especially not to the press. Consider it done. Simone ended the call and looked out her window. The city lights sparkled in the distance. Somewhere out there, Derek was realizing he lost everything. She did not feel sorry for him. She felt free. The news about Derek's firing spread faster than Simone expected. The company he worked for, Harrison & Associates, was a mid-sized consulting firm with a reputation for ethics and professionalism. When they terminated Derek for misconduct, it made the industry newsletters. Simone did not go looking for the articles. Tasha sent them to her. Former consultant Derek Carter terminated for misuse of company resources and fraudulent expense reporting. The article did not mention the affair directly, but anyone with basic reading skills could connect the dots. Simone was in her office when her phone rang. A known number. She almost did not answer, but something made her pick up. Is this Simone Carter? A man's voice. Young, nervous. Who is asking? My name is Brandon Phillips. I was engaged to Amber Collins. Simone went very still. I see. I know this is strange, Brandon continued quickly, but I saw something online. A video. From a yacht. And Amber was in it with a man who looked like. I just needed to know if it is true. Simone closed her eyes. The yacht incident. Someone must have leaked the surveillance footage. What video are you talking about? She asked carefully. It is on social media. Someone posted it with a caption about karma and cheaters. It shows a woman who looks like Amber on a yacht with a man. And then another woman, you I think, showing up with lawyers and serving papers. Simone pulled up her laptop and searched. There it was. A 15-second clip someone edited from the security footage. It showed Derek and Amber kissing on the deck, then cut to Simone arriving with Patricia. The video had 50,000 views. I did not post that, Simone said. I do not know who did. But is it real? Is that Amber? Simone thought about lying. Thought about protecting the woman who helped destroy her marriage. But Brandon deserved the truth. Yes, Simone said. That is Amber. And the man is my soon-to-be ex-husband, Derek. They have been seeing each other for months. Brandon was quiet. She heard him breathing, processing. Did she know he was married? Brandon finally asked. I do not think so. At least not at first. Derek told her he owned the yacht company. He lied to her the same way he lied to me. But she still did this. Yes. More silence. I am sorry, Brandon said. For calling. For bothering you. I just needed to know. It is okay. I understand. Are you going to be okay? Simone looked around her office. At the framed photos of her yachts. At the awards she won for business excellence. At the life she built entirely on her own. I am going to be fine, she said. Better than fine. Good. That is good. Brandon ended the call. Simone sat back in her chair thinking about Amber. Thinking about how Derek's lies destroyed multiple lives. She did not feel satisfaction. Just tired. Her phone rang again. This time it was Tasha. Have you seen the video? Tasha asked. Just now. It is going viral. People are calling you a boss. A queen. There are memes. Memes? Good ones. Mostly women celebrating you. Saying they want to be like you when their husbands cheat. Simone did not know how to feel about that. She never wanted to be internet famous. But maybe it was not a bad thing. Maybe it showed other women they did not have to accept betrayal. They could walk away and still be powerful. The next morning, Simone woke up to 300 new followers on her professional social media account. Messages poured in from women sharing their own stories. Asking for advice. Thanking her for being strong. One message stood out. Dear Mrs. Carter, I saw the video. I'm going through something similar. My husband cheated and I thought I had to forgive him to keep my family together. But seeing you stand up for yourself made me realize I deserve better. I filed for divorce yesterday. Thank you for showing me strength. Simone read it 3 times. She never asked to be a role model. But maybe that was the point. Sometimes strength was not about trying to be perfect. It was about refusing to accept less than you deserved. That afternoon, a local news station requested an interview. They wanted to hear her story. Patricia advised against it. You do not owe the public anything. Keep it private. But Simone thought about all those messages. All those women who needed to hear that they could survive. I want to do it, she said. The interview was scheduled for the following week. A professional crew came to the marina and filmed Simone on the deck of the Azure Dream. The reporter, a woman named Angela Hayes, was respectful and direct. Mrs. Carter, a video of you confronting your husband went viral. Can you tell us what happened? Simone took a breath. I discovered my husband was having an affair. He brought his mistress onto one of my yachts, pretending to own the company I built. When I found out, I filed for divorce and took back control of my life. That must have been devastating. It was. But it also clarified things. I spent 7 years trying to make a marriage work with someone who did not respect me or my accomplishments. Discovering the affair was painful, but it freed me. What would you say to other women going through something similar? Simone looked directly at the camera. You are not required to forgive someone who betrayed you. You are not required to fix something you did not break. And you are definitely not required to stay small so someone else can feel big. Walk away. Build your own life. You will be amazed what you can do when you stop carrying dead weight. The interview aired 3 days later. It was shared across multiple platforms. Simone received calls from business magazines, podcasts, and women's organizations. Everyone wanted to hear more. Her business inquiries doubled. Companies wanted to work with the woman who took control of her narrative. Carter Maritime Group was thriving. And Derek? Derek was unemployed, disgraced, and alone. Amber left him too. Apparently, she was not interested in a man with no job and no money. Simone did not gloat. She just kept moving forward. Because the best revenge was not making him suffer. The best revenge was succeeding without him. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, Simone stood in front of a room full of investors, presenting the next phase of Carter Maritime Group. Luxury yacht experiences are no longer limited to the ultra-wealthy, she explained, clicking to the next slide. Our data shows a growing market of professionals who want premium experiences without the cost of ownership. Our expansion plan includes 10 additional vessels, a membership program, and partnerships with international resorts. The investors leaned forward, studying the projections on the screen. Simone had spent 6 months refining this pitch. 6 months of market research, financial modeling, and strategic planning. 6 months of proving Derek wrong about everything. We are projecting a 40% revenue increase within 2 years, she continued. Our customer retention rate is 92%. And our brand recognition has increased significantly over the past year. That last part was true thanks to the viral video and interview. What started as a painful public moment became a marketing advantage. People wanted to support the woman who stood up for herself. One investor, a woman named Rachel Morrison, raised her hand. What makes you confident you can manage this level of expansion? Simone smiled. I have been managing growth for 10 years. I started with one boat and $50,000. Today, Carter Maritime Group operates 12 vessels and generates over $2 million annually. Expansion is not new to me. It is what I do best. Rachel nodded, satisfied. The meeting ended with commitments for $1.2 million in investment capital. Enough to purchase 3 new yachts and fund the membership program development. Simone shook hands with each investor, maintaining her professional composure. But inside she was celebrating. After they left, Tasha rushed in with champagne. You did it? Tasha squealed. You just secured over $1 million. We did it, Simone corrected. You helped with the research. Please. This is all you. You are a powerhouse. They toasted in Simone's office, looking out at the marina where everything started. You know what I have been thinking about? Simone said. What? Starting a foundation. Something to help women who are recovering from divorce. Business grants, mentorship, legal resources. All the things I wish I had access to when I was going through it. Tasha's eyes lit up. That is perfect. You could change lives. I want to call it the Carter Foundation for Women's Empowerment. We could offer small business grants to women starting over. Help them build independence. When do we start? Simone grinned. Tomorrow. The foundation launched 3 months later. Simone contributed $200,000 of her own money as seed funding. She recruited a board of directors that included Patricia, her attorney, and several successful businesswomen from different industries. The mission was simple: support women rebuilding their lives after divorce, abuse, or financial hardship. The first grant went to a woman named Nicole who wanted to start a catering business after her husband left her with 3 kids and no savings. Simone gave her $10,000 and connected her with a business mentor. Within 6 months, Nicole's business was profitable. The second grant went to a woman named Stephanie who survived domestic violence and needed help opening a daycare center. Simone funded her licensing fees and first 3 months of rent. Stephanie's daycare now served 20 families. Story after story. Woman after woman. Simone watched them transform just like she did. The foundation became her passion project. She gave speeches at women's conferences. She wrote articles about financial independence. She mentored young entrepreneurs who reminded her of herself 10 years ago. And Carter Maritime Group kept growing. The new yachts arrived on schedule. The membership program launched with 300 initial subscribers. Simone expanded operations to include corporate team-building events and destination weddings. Revenue hit $3.5 million in year 1 of the expansion. Simone hired a chief operating officer to manage day-to-day operations while she focused on strategic growth. She promoted Miguel to fleet captain. She gave bonuses to every employee who stayed loyal during the divorce chaos. She built an empire. A real one. Not the fake one Derek pretended to own. One evening, Simone was working late in her office when she got a call from an unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something told her to answer. Simone Carter, she said. Mrs. Carter, this is Officer James Rodriguez with the Financial Crimes Division. I am calling about Derek Carter. Simone sat up straight. What about him? He has been arrested for embezzlement. He was caught attempting to steal funds from a former client. We found evidence linking him to several fraudulent consulting contracts over the past year. Simone closed her eyes. Of course. Derek could not build anything legitimate, so he resorted to stealing. Why are you calling me? She asked. Your name appeared in some of his documents. We needed to verify you had no involvement in his business dealings. I had no involvement. We have been divorced for over a year. That is what we thought, but we needed confirmation. Thank you for your time. Officer Rodriguez, can I ask what will happen to him? If convicted, he is looking at 3 to 5 years in prison. Simone should have felt something. Satisfaction maybe. Or pity. But all she felt was relief that he was no longer her problem. Thank you for letting me know, she said. After the call ended, Simone sat in the quiet office. Derek would go to prison. His lies and schemes finally caught up to him. She thought about the man she married. The charming consultant who made her laugh. The partner she thought she found. That man never existed. It was always a performance. But she was real. Her success was real. And her future was wide open. Simone packed up her laptop and walked out to the marina. The sun was setting, casting purple and pink across the water. Her yachts bobbed gently in their slips. She had built something beautiful. Something lasting. something completely her own. And no one could ever take that away. The trial made local news. Not front page but enough that people noticed. Derek Carter, once a respected consultant, now facing embezzlement charges for defrauding clients and misusing corporate funds. The prosecutor painted a picture of a man who lived beyond his means and resorted to theft when his lies could not sustain his lifestyle. Simone did not attend the trial. She had no desire to see Derek stand before a judge. But Patricia kept her updated. "The evidence is overwhelming," Patricia said during one of their regular check-ins. "Bank records, falsified contracts, testimony from 3 clients he stole from. His attorney is trying to negotiate a plea deal. Will he take it? He does not have much choice. If he goes to trial, he is looking at 7 years. The plea would reduce it to 3 with possibility of early release for good behavior." Simone thought about that. 3 years. Derek would be 42 when he got out. Still young enough to rebuild. But his reputation would be destroyed. "What about Amber?" Simone asked. "She is not involved in the criminal case. But I heard she moved to another state. Apparently her fiancé Brandon took her back briefly, but it did not work out. Last I heard, she was working retail somewhere in Arizona." Simone did not feel sorry for Amber. She made her choices. But she did not celebrate Amber's struggles either. That would require caring, and Simone had no energy left for people who betrayed her. The plea deal was finalized 2 weeks later. Derek pleaded guilty to 3 counts of embezzlement and 1 count of fraud. He was sentenced to 3 years in a minimum security facility with 2 years probation upon release. His parents, who had been silent throughout the divorce, finally reached out to Simone. Derek's mother, Helen, called on a Tuesday afternoon. "Simone, this is Helen Carter. I know we have not spoken since everything happened. But I wanted to apologize." Simone was surprised. "Apologize for what?" "For not reaching out sooner. For not supporting you. I knew Derek was troubled. I knew he had issues with honesty. But I hoped marriage would change him." "Marriage does not change people, Helen. It just reveals who they really are." "You are right. And I am sorry he hurt you. You were always good to him. Too good." Simone appreciated the sentiment, but it did not change anything. "Thank you for calling. Before you go, I wanted you to know that his father and I are not supporting him financially anymore. We paid for his attorney, but that is it. He needs to face consequences." "I agree. And Simone, I am proud of what you built. That business, that foundation. Derek never deserved you." Those words hit harder than Simone expected. Validation from Derek's own mother. "Thank you, Helen. That means a lot." After the call, Simone sat at her desk feeling lighter. Closure maybe. Or just confirmation that she made the right choice. Derek's sentencing happened on a cold November morning. Simone was in a meeting with potential investors from Dubai when Patricia texted her. "He's going in today. 3 years. It is over." Simone excused herself from the meeting for a moment and stepped into the hallway. She looked out at the marina, at the boats swaying in the winter wind. Derek was going to prison. His career was over. His reputation destroyed. His marriage failed. Everything he built, or pretended to build, was gone. And Simone? She was negotiating international contracts, expanding her foundation, building a legacy. She did not feel victorious. She felt free. Back in the conference room, the Dubai investors were reviewing her expansion proposal. They wanted to partner with Carter Maritime Group to offer luxury yacht experiences in the Middle East. "Mrs. Carter," the lead investor said, "we are very impressed with your business model and your values. We would like to move forward with a partnership." Simone smiled. "I am glad to hear that." They shook hands. Another deal closed. Another step forward. That evening, Simone hosted a foundation fundraiser at the marina. Over 200 people attended. Business leaders, community activists, women who benefited from the foundation grants. Simone gave a speech about resilience and rebuilding. "A year ago, I thought my life was falling apart," she told the crowd. "I discovered my husband's betrayal. I went through a painful divorce. I questioned everything I thought I knew about trust and partnership. But what I learned is this: when someone shows you they do not value you, believe them. And then walk away and build something better." The crowd applauded. Women approached her afterward, sharing their own stories, thanking her for speaking truth, asking for advice. Simone listened to each one, offered encouragement, made connections. This was her purpose now. Not just building a business, but lifting other women as she climbed. Late that night, after everyone left, Simone sat alone on the deck of the Azure Dream. The same yacht where Derek brought Amber. The same place where her old life ended and her new one began. She looked up at the stars and thought about everything that happened. Derek was in prison. Amber was gone. The marriage was over. But Simone was still here. Still standing. Still building. And that was the best revenge of all. Therapy was not something Simone thought she needed. She was strong, independent, successful. She handled the divorce with grace and moved on. But Tasha gently suggested it. Just because you can handle things alone does not mean you should. So Simone started seeing Dr. Lisa Franklin, a therapist who specialized in trauma recovery and life transitions. Their first session was awkward. Simone sat in the comfortable office, unsure where to start. "Tell me what brings you here," Dr. Franklin said. "My best friend thinks I need to process my divorce. What do you think?" Simone considered that. "I think I am fine. I moved on. My business is thriving. I am happy. Are you?" The question hung in the air. Simone opened her mouth to say yes but stopped. Was she happy? Or was she just busy? "I do not know," she admitted. That first session opened a door Simone did not realize was closed. Over the next 6 months, she worked through feelings she buried under work and success. Anger. Not at Derek specifically, but at the years she wasted trying to make him feel important. Sadness. For the partnership she thought she had but never existed. Relief. That it was over. That she did not have to pretend anymore. And eventually, acceptance. Derek was broken long before he met her. Nothing she did could have fixed him. "You cannot save someone who does not want to be saved," Dr. Franklin said during one session. "You can only save yourself." Simone carried those words with her. She started saying no to things that did not serve her. She delegated more at work. She took actual vacations instead of just working remotely from different locations. She reconnected with friends she neglected during the marriage. College roommates, old coworkers, women she met at conferences but never followed up with. She traveled to Barcelona and sailed the Mediterranean. She took a cooking class in New Orleans. She learned to paint poorly but it made her laugh. She remembered who she was before Derek. And she discovered who she could become without him. One afternoon, Simone was at the marina inspecting a new yacht delivery when a man approached her. He was tall, maybe 40, with kind eyes and an easy smile. "Excuse me, are you Simone Carter?" he asked. "I am. How can I help you?" "My name is Cameron Ross. I am a marine architect. I have been following your company's expansion and I am really impressed. I was wondering if you ever considered custom yacht designs for your fleet." Simone studied him. He was professional, respectful, not sleazy. "That is an interesting idea. Do you have a portfolio?" "I do. Can I send it to you?" "Sure. Email is on the website." Cameron smiled. "Great. Thank you for your time." He turned to leave, then paused. "Also, I wanted to say I saw your interview about your divorce and your foundation. What you are doing for women is important. My sister went through something similar. Your work gave her hope." "I am glad it helped," Simone said sincerely. "Me too. Anyway, I will send that portfolio. Thanks again." He walked away. Simone watched him go, noting that he did not ask for her number, did not try to flirt, just did what he came to do and left. Professional. Respectful. 2 days later his portfolio arrived. The designs were beautiful. Sleek, modern, environmentally conscious. Exactly what Simone wanted for the next generation of her fleet. She called him to schedule a consultation. They met at a coffee shop near the marina. Cameron brought blueprints and 3D renderings. They talked about design philosophy, sustainability, and luxury without waste. "I believe yachts can be beautiful and responsible," Cameron said. "Solar panels, water recycling systems, efficient engines. Luxury does not have to mean destroying the environment." Simone liked that. "Can you design something like that for a 60-footer? "Absolutely. I would love to collaborate with you." They worked together over the next 3 months. Professional meetings, design reviews, contract negotiations. Cameron was talented, reliable, and genuinely passionate about his work. And he never once crossed professional boundaries. Until one evening, after a successful design presentation to Simone's board, Cameron asked if she wanted to grab dinner. "Just to celebrate the approval," he said. "Nothing more. Unless you want it to be more. But no pressure either way." Simone hesitated. She had not dated anyone since Derek. Barely thought about it. But Cameron was different. He knew who she was. He respected what she built. He did not try to diminish her or take credit for her success. "Dinner sounds nice," she said. They went to a small seafood restaurant downtown. The conversation flowed easily. Cameron talked about his daughter from a previous marriage, his love of sailing, his dream of designing environmentally sustainable vessels for major cruise lines. Simone talked about the foundation, her expansion plans, her rediscovery of painting. "I am terrible at it," she admitted. "But I do not care. It is fun." "That is what hobbies are for," Cameron said. "Not everything has to be perfect." That resonated with Simone. For so long she felt like she had to be perfect. Perfect wife, perfect businesswoman, perfect everything. But perfection was exhausting. And it was not real. "Can I ask you something?" Cameron said. "Sure. Do you ever think about dating again? Or is that too forward?" Simone smiled. "It is direct. But I appreciate that. Honestly, I have not thought about it much. The divorce was hard. I am not ready to jump into anything serious." "That makes sense. For what it is worth, I think you are incredible. Not just as a business owner but as a person. The way you rebuilt after everything? That takes real strength." "Thank you. And if you ever want to grab dinner again as friends or maybe more someday, I am interested. But no pressure. I respect whatever pace works for you." Simone felt something unfamiliar. Not butterflies exactly. More like calm. Like she could trust this moment without overthinking it. "I would like that," she said. They saw each other occasionally over the next few months. Casual dinners, walks along the beach, conversations that never felt forced. Cameron never pushed. Never demanded her time or attention. He just showed up, consistently, and let Simone set the pace. It was refreshing. Healing even. But Simone did not define it. She did not call him her boyfriend or introduce him as anything more than a colleague and friend. Because the truth was, she did not need a relationship to feel complete. She had built a full life on her own. Cameron was a nice addition but not a requirement. And that felt like freedom. 1 year and 4 months after the divorce was finalized, Simone stood on the deck of her newest vessel, the Empress of the Sea. A 120-foot luxury yacht with solar panels, water recycling systems, and the most advanced navigation technology available. It was the flagship of Carter Maritime Group, the crown jewel of her fleet. And it was completely, entirely hers. The unveiling event was packed. Investors, clients, media, and the women from her foundation. Over 300 people gathered at the marina to celebrate. Simone wore a white suit and her natural hair in an elegant updo. She looked powerful, confident, free. Tasha stood beside her, beaming. "You did it, girl. You really did it." "We did it," Simone corrected. "I could not have done this without you." The mayor gave a speech about economic development and women in business. Patricia spoke about resilience and legal empowerment. Several foundation grant recipients shared how Simone's support changed their lives. Then it was Simone's turn. She stepped up to the microphone, looking out at the crowd. She saw business partners, employees, friends, and strangers who believed in her vision. "2 years ago, my life looked very different," Simone began. "I was married to someone who did not respect me. I was building a business while hiding how successful it was because I thought making myself smaller would keep the peace. I was living a lie to protect someone else's ego." The crowd was silent, listening. "Then I discovered the truth. My husband's betrayal. His lies. His willingness to use my work to make himself look important. And I had a choice. I could stay small and forgive him. Or I could walk away and build something bigger." Simone gestured to the yacht behind her. "I chose bigger. I chose myself. I chose to stop apologizing for my success and start celebrating it. And this yacht, this company, this foundation, it is all proof that the best revenge is not hurting someone back. The best revenge is building a life so good that their betrayal becomes irrelevant." The crowd erupted in applause. Simone continued, "To every woman who has been underestimated, dismissed, or betrayed, you are stronger than you know. You do not need permission to succeed. You do not need someone else to validate your worth. You just need to believe in yourself and take the first step." More applause. Women in the crowd wiped tears. Men nodded in agreement. Carter Maritime Group started with 1 boat and a dream. Today we operate 15 vessels, employ over 50 people, and generate over $4 million annually. The Carter Foundation has given grants to 63 women and helped them start businesses, leave abusive situations, and rebuild their lives. And we are just getting started. Simone paused, letting that sink in. This yacht represents more than luxury. It represents independence, strength, the power of refusing to settle. And I am proud to share it with all of you. She pulled a ribbon and the champagne bottle swung, shattering against the hull. Cheers filled the marina. Music played. People boarded the yacht for tours. Photographers captured every moment. Simone stood back watching it all unfold. This was hers. Every inch of it. Cameron approached, holding 2 glasses of champagne. You were amazing up there. Thank you. I mean it. You are changing lives. Simone looked at him. Over the past year, their relationship evolved slowly. Dinners became weekly. Conversations became deeper. But Simone never rushed it. She took her time, made sure this was real. And it was. Cameron was patient, kind, and genuinely supportive. He celebrated her wins without trying to claim credit. He listened without trying to fix everything. He respected her independence. I have something to tell you, Simone said. Okay. I do not need you. I want you in my life, but I do not need you to be happy or successful or complete. I built all of this on my own, and I will keep building with or without a relationship. Cameron smiled. I know. That is what makes you extraordinary. But I do want you here. If you are willing to be patient with me while I figure out what this is. I am willing to be patient forever if that is what you need. Simone kissed him. Not desperately, not like she needed saving. Just a simple, genuine kiss between 2 people who respected each other. Later that evening, as the party wound down, Simone walked along the dock alone. She looked at her fleet, all 15 yachts lined up in perfect order. She thought about Derek. Wondered where he was, if he was thinking about her, if he regretted his choices. Probably not. Men like Derek rarely took responsibility. But it did not matter anymore. Derek was irrelevant. A footnote in her story. A lesson learned. Simone pulled out her phone and opened her notes app. She started writing. Dear younger me, one day you will be betrayed by someone you trust. It will hurt. You will question everything. But you will survive. You will rebuild. You will create something so beautiful that the pain becomes a distant memory. And you will realize that the person who betrayed you did you a favor. They forced you to see your own strength. They pushed you to stop settling. They gave you the gift of freedom even if they did not mean to. So when that day comes, cry if you need to. Grieve the life you thought you had. But then stand up, brush yourself off and build something better. Because you are capable of more than you know. Love the woman you will become. Simone saved the note. She would share it with the foundation. Maybe it would help someone else. Far away on the shore, a figure stood watching the celebration. Derek. Released early for good behavior. Broke, unemployed, living in a halfway house. He watched Simone laugh with her guests. Watched her stand tall and confident on the deck of a yacht he could never afford. He thought about walking down to the marina. Maybe apologizing. Maybe asking for a second chance. But he did not. Because he knew what Simone would say. She would look at him with those clear, strong eyes and tell him no. She did not need his apology. She did not want his excuses. She had moved on to bigger and better things. Derek turned and walked away, disappearing into the night. And Simone never noticed. She was too busy celebrating the future she built. The Empress of the Sea sailed the next morning on its maiden voyage. Simone stood at the helm beside Captain Miguel, watching the sun rise over the ocean. Where to, boss? Miguel asked. Simone smiled. Anywhere we want. And they sailed forward into open water toward endless possibilities. Because that was the ultimate victory. Not revenge. Not making Derek suffer. But creating a life so full of purpose, joy, and success that his betrayal became nothing more than the starting point of something extraordinary. Simone was free. And freedom was the best revenge of all.